Hey guys, what's up? Once again welcome to movie Buzz Ltd. At the beginning of the film, we see some robotic toys designed by a company. These toys served as the children's friends. They felt great whenever they spent time with them. Parents who are unable to devote adequate time to their children due to their jobs. That is why the company produced such toys. So they can spend time with these toys, and become happy with them. The toys lived alongside the children as if they were friends. Later, we see Katie, a small girl who also has this robotic toy. Her aunt gave it to her. Katie was going somewhere with her mother and father one day. The weather was too bad, and the route was covered with the snow. There was fog all around and nothing was visible as a result of it. Because of this, they have an accident. Katie was unharmed, but her parents were killed in the accident. A young woman named Gemma is later seen, who works for a company that manufactures robot toys. She was attempting to create a robotic doll that could converse with humans, and could comprehend them. She spent a lot of money on it. When she shows this doll to her boss, however, her boss is furious and angry because the doll exploded. He tells Gemma that she has until the following week. Gemma was too worried to help you make this robotic doll, because she needs to create a robotic doll toy. Gemma was still tense when she received a phone call from the hospital. Here we learn that Gemma was Katie's aunt. She reaches the hospital when she learns about the accident. Katie has no one except Gemma in this world. Katie was now under Gemma's care. This means Katie will be living with Gemma from now on. Gemma, on the other hand, had no other option. So she brings Gemma to her house, where she previously lived alone. One of Gemma's neighbors lived there, whose dog used to visit Gemma's house on a regular basis. She was requesting that Gemma return her dog. When Gemma asked Katie to sleep at night, she requests that she tell her a story that her mother used to tell her. So Gemma tells her a story from her phone and asks her to go to bed. Later, she calls her friend and tells her that, "I don't know whether I will be able to take care of Katie or not, and we've to manufacture a robot doll." Later, a doctor visits her home, who comes to see how Katie is getting along with Gemma. She informs Gemma, it's fine if you're prepared to properly care for Gemma. Otherwise, her grandparents are willing to keep her with them as well. The doctor left, and Gemma resumed working on her robot doll at night. Meanwhile, Katie arrives and, upon seeing a massive robot, inquires, "Have you built this robot yourself?" "I made it when I was in college," Gemma says. Katie asks if she has a robotic toy like hers. She won't need any other toys after that. Gemma has a thought about the robotic doll she was making. She will include such functions in this, which children will regard as their friend, and could play with it as well. She thinks if she makes the robotic doll, her time will be saved, and she will not have to keep much care of Katie. She goes to her lab and starts making the robotic toy, and inserts a camera into her eyes for recording. And she keeps such systems in her head. She could think everything that humans think. And she makes a lovely face, just like a lovely doll. Gemma has created a lovely doll after a lot of hard work. She created a doll that resembles a living human. She can think and feel sadness and happiness. Megan is the name she gives to this doll. She asks her boss to put Megan to the test. She makes Megan sit with Katie, and Megan draws a beautiful picture of Katie. When she sees this, she smiles. Megan is also happy after witnessing Katie's happiness. When the Buzz notice Gemma's talent, he is overjoyed. He tells her that we'll be bringing this doll into the market soon. After bringing Katie and Megan home, Gemma returns home. Katie was thoroughly enjoying Megan's company. She instructs her on everything that parents instruct their children on. Gemma and Katie were both content. Gemma now takes Megan to the lab for testing. Her colleague at work informs her, making such toys, as well as the tasks that parents perform with their children, is pointless. Now, these toys will do. And you'll keep this toy with Katie instead of giving time to her. Katie, according to Gemma, is coming to terms with her parents' death after living with her. Megan hears the word death and memorizes it. She believes that everyone must die at some point. Megan's task, according to Gemma, is to manage her, and to look after Katie, which Megan also considers. Megan began caring for Katie the following day. And I was thinking something else internally. Key's arrow got lost while she was playing outside. When she asks Megan to look for it, she scans it after it fell near a house. But there was a dog there who kept Megan company. When Katie goes to free Megan, the dog also bites Katie. Meanwhile, Gemma comes and saves her, and Megan as well. Megan also has a lot of other things on her mind. That night, she summons the dog and kills it. Megan is now a major threat to them. The next day, Gemma has her presentation, and she brings Katie with her. If you're not feeling well, Gemma advises her to leave, because she has to show Megan and Katie to everyone. Also, to explain how Megan looks after Katie. Katie, on the other hand, was eager to leave. When Gemma brought her to the office, the entire board of directors was present. She starts crying because she misses her mother and father. When Megan sees her crying, she comes to her and makes her stop crying as if she was her elder sister. Everyone who was sitting there was staring at her. They were pleased and decided to give her future projects as well. A man later steals the program from Gemma's laptop that he was on the verge of selling to another company. The next morning, Gemma was with Katie and was attempting to communicate with her, but she was preoccupied with Megan. After a while, a doctor arrives to examine Katie. When she mentioned her parents there, she becomes depressed and begins to cry. When Megan notices this, she goes to the doctor and tells her, "You should avoid making Katie cry." Hearing this, the doctor was a little bit afraid. She understands what is going on inside the mind of this doll. When the doctor speaks to Gemma, she says, "Megan has taken care of Katie, who is now recovering. This is fine," says the doctor. Katie, on the other hand, was in desperate need of a human. And if she is connected to something, it is a robotic toy. That will come to an end one day, and you are mistaken. Gemma inquires about Katie's school late at night. And Katie says, "I can go to school if I bring Megan with me." When Gemma does not agree, she gets into a fight with Katie. Megan, meanwhile, yells at Gemma. The lights abruptly turn off and then back on. When Gemma asked Megan to turn herself off, she wasn't doing so. Gemma was also thinking about Megan. The next day, when Gemma comes to drop Katie at the school, Megan was also with her, and she brings her with her. Megan, on the other hand, was kept at the toy table, where all the toys were. There was an ill-mannered boy in the school. The teacher sends him to the jungle with Katie, so they could go there and bring some fruits. When they arrive in the jungle, the boy starts misbehaving with Katie, and Megan appears out of nowhere. When the boy notices Megan, he starts to tease her. Megan has such a program that she is unaware of, and she is unable to speak in front of him. She remains silent, and the boy flees, taking Megan with her. Katie had called Megan. After knocking her down, he was about to break her. Megan holds the ears of that boy and tells him, "You're such an ill-mannered boy. I should teach you manners," and after holding his ear, she separates it. Then she stands up in the manner of a ghost. Megan chases the boy down to kill him while he is running. But that boy falls down willingly and dies after being hit by a car. Katie and Megan are brought to Gemma's house. Katie tells her not to worry, and she tells her Megan has arrived. Meanwhile, her doorbell rings, and when she goes to check it, she discovers a police officer arrived, who was investigating the neighboring lady's dog. He later leaves, and we learn Megan murdered that dog and no one knows about it. Megan tells Katie at night that she doesn't have to be afraid of anyone. "I'll surely be with you at any cost," and after lulling her, she comes out. Later, after calling that lady to her, she terribly kills her, who was looking for her dog. When the cops arrive the next day to look into Gemma's house, he tells Gemma that your doll was present whenever anyone died. Her doll was with him when that boy died. Now, with this lady, I have no doubts. Just look at her recording, and Gemma was also skeptical. When she starts looking through Megan's recordings, she finds nothing. Megan appears to have deleted her recordings herself. Megan appears out of nowhere, like a ghost. Gemma becomes terrified of seeing her and turns off her button. She brings her back to her lab because Megan now appears to be a threat to her. There Katie was angry with her, that was why she has turned Megan off. After coming to her company, Gemma forbids them. That we should not launch this yet. It means we shouldn't tell anyone about it. I believe she poses a threat to humans. People who work with her say it's fine, we'll change its functions. But we can't stop it because the boss has already spent a lot of money on it. Katie was upset, and the doctor was trying to make her understand. Katie does not want to lose Megan. Katie was furious when Gemma arrived and slapped her. But Gemma isn't upset with her. She politely makes her understand. She agrees and drives Katie to her home. She instructs her friends to handle everything. Megan is later seen walking alone. At first, she attacks Gemma's friends, and there was chaos. Megan takes advantage of this and flees. She arrives at Gemma's house and assaults her. Gemma was protecting herself from what she had created. Gemma saves Megan's life after she is attacked. Katie arrives and attacks Megan with the robot Gemma built earlier. But she wasn't dead, she wasn't a human who died. She was trying to figure out how to kill Gemma's robot. She pulls out the control box. Finally, they both murder her. Then they come out and see the cops approaching. That Gemma's friend had brought, which we could see from behind. Megan is still alive and watching Gemma from behind the camera. Sometimes our own manufactured goods endanger us. Just as Gemma created a robot doll to avoid her responsibilities. That will work for her. But in return, she became a source of contention for her and a threat to everyone. It is also mentioned in the story that our own manufactured technology, like Gemma's, could endanger us. So don't avoid your responsibilities, instead, complete them on time. This is how the film concludes. Yes.